Masechet Keilim. So you need to use your imagination here. In order to understand, I'm just going to talk about ways of saving your tanur from becoming tameh. And there are basically two ways. Way number one is if I have a cover on it. It's a meat patil, right? A tight cover, airtight cover, kind of like your Tupperware. That's way number one. Way number two is, let's say I have sorry, you can't see this. Let's say I put a kli inside, I immerse it inside, let's say this is my kli cheres. I put a kli inside the kli, and inside, like the sheretz goes inside that. So there's a halacha that says the following. I hope that's clear, right? Torah says the following. This is Vayikra Yudah Aleph Lamed Gimel. V'kol kli cheres asher yipol mehem el tocho. Any kli cheres, any earthenware vessel that falls into it, el tocho, into it, kol asher betocho yitma. V'otot tishbor. Everything that falls into it, yitma, should become tameh, and it should be, you have to break it. So now, we're going to see that there's a halacha that says the following. That's only good for tocho. Anything that falls into it. So the halacha says tocho, velo, I'm going to highlight this. Tocho, velo, tocho. Meaning, yes, if a sheretz, use my, imagine the other sheretz. If the sheretz goes in and is hanging in there, that's tocho. But, if the sheretz is in the thing, inside the thing, right? That's called tocho. Inside what's inside. And if you're inside what's inside, it doesn't become tameh. Now that you know that, hopefully you'll be able to better understand our Mishnah. Okay, the Mishnah talks about what's a way of protecting, what's a kli that's considered protecting, that protects from truma and what's not. Hatanur shechatzo b'nisarim o b'yuriyot. Let's say you had an oven, and you divided it with nisarim beams or yuriyot, or yuriyot are bands of leather or cloth. So therefore you put a mechitza up, i.e., the way we talk about it in Israel today, kapsulot. If you're watching this sometime after Tafshin Pei, you don't remember what kapsulot are, go look it up in the news. Okay, nimsa sheretz b'makom echad, and the sheretz is on one side, hakol tameh, the whole thing is tameh. Let's go grab pose it. Here, these are nisarim beams. You divide it into two. Sorry, there's no mechitza when it comes to kli cheres. The whole thing is tameh. Next, kaveret. So now what's a kaveret? Kaveret, he says, is, here, let's look at Rav Posit. I don't know if I can make it bigger, but I'm going to read it for you. Kaveret is a kupal lidvorim lasobad bash. It's like a beehive. V'asuyami kashko kadim. It was made of straw or reeds, or something like that. V'agulai, it's round. Uki shlema having kli. When it's shlema, when it's full, when it's complete, it's a kli. Okay? So, if you put the kaveret, just like I showed you, it's if you put the kaveret in the tanur, and the sheretz is found in the kaveret, that's considered tocho, and therefore the tanur is not tameh. This is what he says. The tocho amar rachmana, below tocho. I know it's very small, it's very hard to see. I don't know if you can make it, if I can make it any bigger, because I have this thing here. So I'll try to make it a little bigger so you can see it. Right, and then you scroll over. That's what he says. Tocho velo, and then now you're stuck because it's too big and you can't see it anyway. We do the best we can. Tocho velo, tocho. That's the idea of the kaveret here. But what happens if the kaveret becomes damaged, nifchat, and then you stuffed it with straw? You patched it. That's what our mission is going to talk about. Kaveret, you have this beehive straw thing. Chuta. It became damaged, i.e., it had a hole in it. Okay, it was either crushed or had a hole in it. The lav klihi. Okay, it's not a kli. Let's look at the right to the right. The iavi shlema. If it was a whole kli, hayta matzelet ala ochelim shebotacha. It would save the food inside of it. Okay, if there was a sheretz in the oven. Dafilu kli shetef matzil. Kli shetef is any kli. I look this up. You look in the Viki Yeshiva. Kli shetef, it's any kli that you can take to the mikvah. You can be tahor. Kli cheres you can't take to the mikvah. So bal hashta the lav kli, but now it's not a kli. Havi kemechitza be'ama. It's like a mechitza. And we learned that mechitza doesn't work. So therefore, this kaveret chuta kuka bekash. I'm sorry, I have to read it carefully. Kaveret chuta is a damaged kaveret kuka bekash. Pakuk means that it was stopped up with straw. Umishushelet la'avir tanur. You lowered it down into the air of the tanur. Hasheretz b'tocha. And if there's a sheretz in this kaveret, this pi, hatanur tameh. Tanur is tameh. Why? Because it's a mechitza. It's not a kli. It doesn't have a kaveret pchuta. It doesn't have a kli. Even though you stopped up afterwards. Hasheretz b'tanur. Oh, chlin shebetocha. Let's say the sheretz was in the. Here's the tanur. The sheretz is in here, and now I lower it in my stopped up kaveret. Then the stuff in here is tameh. The water is tameh. The food is tameh. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer says, sorry, he says, I disagree. He says the kaveret that was patched up is enough to be a mechitza. Why? Amar Rabbi Eliezer says, look, im hitzila b'meita chamor, lo tatzil b'kli cheres hakal. He says, listen, Rabbi Eliezer says, look, a kaveret pchuta, it's hard to say, kaveret pchuta pkuka b'kash. This kaveret, this biyah that was punctured and then repaired with straw, chosetet b'mnei tuma b'or lamed. If you had this straw thing, and a person was inside of it, or a thing was inside of it, okay, and the opening of it was outside of the door, whatever, and then in that oil, in that tent was a dead guy. Nonetheless, whatever is in that kaveret is tahor. So the Rabbi says, 1 second. If the kaveret, this kaveret, this repaired straw thing, if it can save you from meta chamor, from too much met, this is easy. In the cheres, it's not a problem. It's just a small, too much sheretz. Amulo. They said, we agree. Yes, it can save with a strict case of too much met. Why sheken cholkim ohalim? Because it has a din, it has a status of a separate ohel, a separate tent. Tafsil b'kli cheres hakal. Can it save the yes? The kli cheres is kal. It's not as strict. She'en chokim kli cheres. Remember we learned. That's our first halacha we learned. If you you divide it up, it doesn't help. So dividing it up, the kaveret in this case, it's not the din of a kli. It's the din of a mechitza. So for tuma and oil, you create another oil. You create a separate, area or a separate space. That's enough. That's not enough for kli cheres, and therefore that's why your kli cheres is. That's why. Is tameh. And that's exactly what he said. In ohel, a mechitza is enough. But here, you have to have a separate kli. And this is not a kli, so sorry, even though it's more chamur here,